Hey guys! Hey, you can't see me smiling, but maybe you can tell by my eyes. Hey, there's Art saying hi.
Hi, good morning.
We're going to be getting started in about 5 minutes, so go get your coffee, and we'll catch up with you later. See you soon.
Everyone's so quiet. Everyone's so beautiful behind your back. Hey. Well, sometimes sounds can make you look unfriendly here. There you go. Everyone's here for some lessons. Hey. So, watch this.
Welcome to Unity of Wichita. Yeah! Woo! We are live. Welcome. I am Patty Yu, and I will be your platform leader today. We have with us Virginia Patrick, who's our musical arts director. Yay! Sam Jones is not only our technical amazing wizard back there, but she will also be sharing our affirmations and meditation, and our Candy will be sharing our message. Let's give them all a hand. Yay! We want to welcome everyone who is here today. We have people in the sanctuary today. We are all wearing masks. We all had our temperature taken on the way in. We all have hand sanitized. We are way more than 6 feet apart. We are being safe, all to protect each other and to protect ourselves. And you at home, we welcome you, everyone. Our greatest desire is that you are inspired in some way by the music, the message, the meditation, and you all are a blessing to us. Thank you so much for being here. That's great. I'm excited. This is so exciting. Wow, okay. So, power of the month is power, which is the power of dominion. It is mastery over ourselves, our lives, our choices, everything we do. We're having the power of that. And with that power of dominion and mastery, let's say together, statement. Here we go. Inspiring spiritual transformation as a vibrant, diverse, and inclusive community. And with that same power, let's say together our statement of being. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. That is so awesome. And once again, we want to welcome everyone who is here in the sanctuary today, everyone who is home live on Facebook. And just to let you know, we're going to have a little Zoom at the end, right? Yes. So at the end, if you want to, even all of us, we could all check in Zoom at the end of this if we want to have a little chat like we've been doing for weeks now. So that's also very exciting. So we welcome you, and if you're here for the first time, either in the sanctuary or live at home, we look forward to meeting you in person, and it's all very exciting. We welcome you to Unity of Wichita, and we are blessed that we are all together here. Unity is a worldwide mission dedicated to the ongoing spirit, enlivening that within all of us. So wherever you are in your spiritual journey, we just invite you to take in our teachings and then gently release the rest. And together we are going to bless everyone who is here and who is live on Facebook at home. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ as you, just as you are. Fantastic. Thank you, Virginia.
All right. It's good to see people's faces, even if they're only half. All right, so now that everything is reopened, I thought we'd do a go out and shine kind of song. Here.
I think we should have a dance.
If you want to stand up, by all means. And if you want to clap, clap. We're all in a kind of new universe, right? All right, so, okay. Go out and shine. Go out and shine your light. You know, time is right. Gotta go out, shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. Go out, shine your light. You know, time is right. Gotta go out, shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. Step out and take a chance. Walk the talk, join the dance. Relax, enjoy the ride. Let kindness be your guide. You gotta go out and shine your light. You know the time is right. Gotta go out and shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. One voice, one head, one heart. Wanna change, just make a start. We're one big family. It's good for you, it's good for me. You gotta go out and shine your light. You know the time is right. You gotta go out and shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine.
I love all those jazz fingers.
Good morning, everyone. It is good to see everyone here and everyone who is at home. We will now go into a time of prayer. And boy, do we need it. We need prayer. We need prayer most definitely, just to be able to have a sense of peace and a sense of centering in a time where there is much uncertainty, much turmoil, much volatility, much unanswered questions. It's very good to take in prayer so that we can recenter and recalibrate and really know that presence that is unchanging. And we certainly are holding our world in prayer, our spiritual community in prayer, city in prayer. We just need prayer. Just take a moment to settle in. Allow our bodies and senses to become relaxed and calm. as we silently affirm to ourselves the full presence of God right here, right now. We affirm in this moment that loving, peaceful presence that is our true nature. We behold the divine within. We open and avail ourselves this morning to this free-flowing presence and know that all of the attributes of God are fully and completely present now. We bask in those attributes. We know love, peace, beauty, wisdom, and understanding. We hold our world in prayer. We hold our country in prayer. We know that there is a lot of pain, anger, sadness, confusion. And when conditions that reflect these things exist, we know that it can bring on questions and uncertainty. And it can really test the truth that we know. But we breathe into the knowing that the divine is present. And even if we can't sense it, we hold on to that as a faith and as a feeling. We allow that to guide us and strengthen us. We hold each and every person in our country in prayer. We hold all of those who are hurting and confused in our prayers. We hold our leaders in our prayer and our world in prayer, knowing light and wholeness. And we know that our minds and hearts are opening up to this now. We are so grateful, and together we say, and so it is. Amen.
This is a very beautiful chant. Very, very much love. It's called Heart of the Mother, written by Michael Thorne. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of God. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with the God. We got this. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one. I am one with the God. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with the God. Again, we got. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. I am one with the heart of the Mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of God. I am one with the God.
So I invite you to join me that we are one. We are one. Please repeat after me. I am I.
And
I am peace.
I am peace.
I am whole.
I am whole.
I am one with you.
I am one with you.
I invite you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And as you breathe, fill your lungs to capacity. And as you gently and slowly exhale, feeling the warmth of the breath on your face, allow that to be part of the very meditation that we experience today. Allow this moment to be the time that you forget. Forget that you're wearing a mask. Forget that you're distanced from your loved ones and your friends. Forget that things are just a little different. And allow yourself to go deep into that heart space. Feeling that full expression of breath rising. And as you exhale, I invite you to drop all the way down into your belly. And while you're there, I invite you to draw in another deep breath, bringing forth incredible power and strength. And as you exhale, gently lift back into the heart space. In this space, I invite you to allow for every single person, environment, or situation that you have a longing for to rise into this space. We are one in this longing. We each have different versions, different visions. Yet we are one in longing. I invite you to allow these following words to just simply wash over you, hearing that which is yours and releasing all others. I invite you to embrace and illuminate with a powerful, brilliant, nurturing, pink and gold, love and understanding as each one of these come forward. A longing for touch. A longing for kindness. A longing for justice. A longing for belonging to someone, to some place. And as you allow these to rise up within you, I invite you to become aware that that longing is beginning to soften. For we know that we are one, and when we enter into this sacred space of love, understanding, and we do so with divine strength and power, we know that we are one. I am I. I am peace. I am whole. I am free. I am.
I'm sorry. I don't know why, but I thought this song might be kind of fitting for the times we're going through. How many roads must a man walk down before they call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? How many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever back? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years must a mountain exist before it's washed to the sea? How many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? The answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? How many years must one man have before he can hear the people cry? The answer, my friend, is blowing in. The answer is blowing. The answer is blowing in the wind.
feel that too. Let's give Virginia another round of applause. Our subject this morning is we are all connected. And having the privilege of serving as co-spiritual leader of this beautiful spiritual community, it is so wonderful to have you all here, those who are here, those of you online. I want to behold and welcome you as well. At some point in time, all of us as a part of this spiritual community will begin to share space together again. And I'm sure that will happen at some point in the near future. But as a spiritual leader, in times like this, oftentimes when we see things that have been happening, such as the events of this past week, the challenges with COVID-19 and all that goes on there, people are seeking a word of guidance and direction from a spiritual perspective, and they rely on their spiritual leaders to provide that guidance and to provide that comforting word. But please know that spiritual leaders and ministers, we struggle too sometimes to really perceive what should be perceived of truth in these trying moments. And many of you who have been connected with me this week know that I've been struggling with the events of this past week. At the pleasure of the Board of Trustees of this spiritual community, and through the loving grace and patience of you all, I get to come here most Sundays and deliver a quality unity message, or at least try to go. So I serve as a spiritual leader along with my partner, Sam Jones, who just led us on a beautiful meditation and a series of affirmations. But I'm also a Black man. I'm a mama's baby and my father's child. I also am in the blessed position that I have a wide range of people of all different races and cultures and backgrounds that I can genuinely call my beloved, and that includes all of you. So I feel the weight of everyone's concern and everyone's pain, and being an empathic person, I really do feel it. I really do feel it. And I've shed so many tears this week that I don't think it's even possible for me to cry anymore. I don't even think I have any more of the saline liquid inside of me to cry. And I fully admit that this message today may be more cathartic for me than it might be for anyone else. But I'm just gonna go with it. And I chose for a title that we're all connected. And in thinking about this truth that we're all connected, I'm reminded of the words of Jesus from the book of Luke, the Gospel of Luke, chapter 7, verse 24. Do not judge according to appearances. Do not judge according to appearances, but do righteous judgment. And what that means is to develop the eyes to see things through the eyes of spiritual principle, through the eyes of truth, through the eyes of divine guidance. And I'm also reminded of the wise words of Eric Butterworth, who was a very prominent unity minister. The world right as it is to see the world rightly, to see the world rightly. And it's very challenging to do sometimes when the appearances seem so dramatic. The appearances seem so overwhelming and all-consuming. But as those of us who are on the spiritual journey can attest, there's always a truth behind what it is that we see. There's always something that undergirds what we see, that gives proper spiritual context and dimension to what it is that we're seeing and what it is that we are experiencing. We find ourselves in a world, in a country, where this week we saw, and in unity, there's always a debate or a question as to how much to engage in current events, how much to engage in things that are framed through the lens of political matters. Because we strive to hold a high consciousness. So for whatever is going on, we try to open and avail ourselves to consciousness so that we can navigate our way through that. But what we saw this week, we saw a very disturbing video. A very disturbing video of a man who lost his life in a police interaction. We saw the resulting outrage that came about that. We saw a lot of concern from a lot of different people. We saw rallies and demonstrations. And sadly, we saw a lot of looting and a lot of destruction. And oh, by the way, we're in the midst of a pandemic. So these things are happening, and I've had moments, and I've had moments before, and I know Sam has had moments where we've been asked to kind of give a message on the fly, where you get a few, hey, something happened, the senior minister is not available, can you step in? And then between that time and the time you hit the platform, you're in constant conversation with God as to try to ascertain and download a message to be able to share. But most moments you have an opportunity to prepare. For me, this is strictly on the fly. I couldn't bring myself to really prepare a message and craft it the way that I normally do, and then allow space for authentic, in the moment flowing. So I'm just speaking off the cuff right here. As I have taken in the moments of this week, as I have been angry, and as I have cried, I reflected on the teachings from the Fillmores and other New Thought luminaries about the principle of oneness. How, as a birthright and as a consequence of being alive, each and every one of us have a natural oneness with God, a natural connection with God, even in our moments even in the moments where we don't feel it, that connection is there. And through that same sense of oneness, we are all connected with each other. It is a teaching that really nourishes me and fuels me. It is a teaching that gives me a sense of mission to do my part in my small corner of the universe to help promote this consciousness and to help people to really, really perceive it and grasp it. And Charles Fillmore said that a full realization of this consciousness would end conflicts, it would end war, it would end a lot of the things that people find themselves at odds and in opposition to. So we are all one, and we are all connected, and the spiritual journey is about building the consciousness to where that awareness naturally rises up in us. And in seeing the world rightly, if we can get into that kind of consciousness, it will allow us and it will enable us to be able to navigate things such as this. However, oftentimes, when we think about these things and we begin to perceive it, we can say to ourselves, oh, let me just take on this teaching and take on this idea and take on this way of seeing, and I should be good. In reality, we do get a lot of nourishing by being in the clouds, but also it's necessary to get into the weeds. And the weeds are the places of discomfort. The weeds are coming to grips and coming to realization with those things in our consciousness, those things in our minds, and those things in our hearts that may lead us in directions that are against that high consciousness. So we behold the principle of love as this harmonizing principle. It's another thing to meet ourselves where we are in our lives and really get real and get honest about those things in us, those beliefs in us, those prejudices within us, those biases within us that block us from a full experience of love. We can behold the idea of life, but then it's another thing to get real with those error beliefs and get real with those error states of consciousness within us, not out there, within us, that block us from a full realization of life. Same thing with beauty. What are those beliefs and ideas that I have in mind and in my heart that block me or frustrate me from having a full experience of beauty, a full experience of love? Someone reached out to me today or yesterday who, and this is a loved one who has family and friends in the Minnesota area, the Minneapolis area, which is the kind of the epicenter of all that's been going on. And this person was saying that there were people there that were really scared and didn't really understand why everything was happening. And these people who were scared, these were good, decent, spiritual-minded people who were going through these things. And it made me think about sometimes what our children ask us. Why would God allow things that we've seen, things that we've taken in this week? Why would God allow these things to happen? Well, the interesting thing in terms of seeing the world rightly, when that question is asked, that question, it makes the issues, the situations, the problems, it makes it larger than God. In other words, you're trying to see God through the problem rather than seeing the issue through the eyes of God. That's the first flip that we have to do. Because in God knowledge, there's always a whole in every part. There's always an allness within every illness. And there's always a Christ in every person. There's a Christ in every person. The same reason why, well, it's not even correct to say that God allows these things. The principle of music, harmony, and the orderly arrangement and harmonious arrangement of notes in the proper stresses and the proper tenses. In the principle of music, there is no errors in that principle. But there's no errors in that principle. However, sometimes people hit the wrong note or sing off key. That's not the fault of the principle. It's that the person in the moment found themselves out of harmony with that principle. And for that moment, they may have sung off key, or they may have hit the wrong note. Same thing with the principle of mathematics. The principle of mathematics is the orderly arrangement of numbers in certain kind of relationships that produces various results. There's no error in that principle. Yet, sometimes we have wrong answers. Sometimes when we're balancing our checkbook, we fat finger a number and we get a wrong number as a result. That's not the principle's fault. It's in how we try to incorporate that principle at the moment. Same thing with the divine. There is no error in God. There is no error in the divine. So if there are problems and issues and frustrations, it's only because individuals, people are out of sync with the divine in that moment. Do you guys understand what is being said? But the principle is there. So what does that mean? That means in that very horrible, tragic circumstance with George Floyd and the police officer, the principle was present there. Believe it or not. God was in the flames when buildings went on fire. Believe it or not, if God is everywhere present and God is all there is, God had to be there. That's a hard principle to see when you're dramatically affected by it. But here's one thing that I know. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I am a veteran of the whole Rodney King incident and the riots. That's my history, or I lived through that history. I was actually there on the ground in real time as everything is happening. Here is my concern and my personal charge and mission. As I'm seeing things unfold, and sadly, these kinds of situations with police aggression and overreach, as an African American man, I can tell you that does happen. As an African American man who has experienced being handcuffed and a gun put in my face for nothing at all, that happens. As a man who has a very dear friend by the name of Kevin Wicks, who lived in Inglewood, California, who heard a knock at the door at 3 a.m. in the morning, who cracked open the door to try to ascertain who was knocking and who didn't identify themselves at the time. He was shot by police and killed in a manner in which his family and all of us as his friends and loved ones believe in a way, believe that it was uncalled for. The aggression didn't even nearly match the situation. He heard a knock at the door. He was asleep. As a person who has experienced all these things, that happens. And this is not to say that there aren't police officers that are honorable and noble and take their job seriously, because there are, and we all know some. What I'm seeing in the trajectory of how this thing is unfolding, based upon my past experience, and I have to say this is taking on the trajectory of no change. The trajectory of the same old, same old. People are concerned. It's getting a lot of news coverage. There are a lot of rallies. But when the cameras go away from the hot spots, when the news cycle changes, and people get fatigue, outrage fatigue, heavy emotion fatigue, it's taking on the trajectory of going back to the same old, from my perspective. But I'm determined as an individual to not allow that to happen. And what needs to happen in order for that not to occur is there needs to be individual and collective shifts in consciousness. Something isn't working. Something isn't working in our collective culture, in individual consciousness. Something is amiss. Something is amiss. If each and every person is the presence of the divine in action, it seems to me a healthy situation would be a guiding principle that would guide human relations, human interactions, and all areas of human activity. In this spiritual community, our mission statement is to inspire spiritual transformation. What is spiritual transformation if it isn't transformation into right seeing? Seeing the divine present in each and every person, seeing the divine present everywhere, and acting on it, and acting like it, and putting our thoughts and our behaviors and our actions in accordance with that. It's going to take a lot of understanding. It's going to take a lot of uncomfortable conversations. We have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's going to take some uncomfortable conversations if we're going to change the situation. We can't go back to business as usual. We can't go back to the same old, same old. We can't go back to going on back into our own little lives. We have to change, and we have to change how we relate to each other. We have to change how we see each other. And all of us have work to do. None of us at this moment is really at the consciousness to really bring those things about. So if there's ever a thought of things will be better when those people over there, and those people over there, and those people over there get themselves together, when those people over there act right, when those people over there do something different, then all of this will be better. The very thought of those people over there is evidence of an error in consciousness in this person right here. Because guess what? There's no distance in spirit. So that person over there, you are over there. That person over there that's wrong, you are over there. We're all connected. We're all one. We all share a oneness in God. In God, we live, move, and have our being, and that's true for each and every one of us. So what's going on over there? Some of that is going on in here. I'm going to pause and kind of let us sit with that principle for a moment. One of my artisms is, and I have a lot of artisms. One of my artisms is, to the degree that I can't see the divine in another person, that is evidence of an imbalance within myself that will frustrate my ability to see my own divinity. Having said all that I've said to this point, I'm hopeful. Having said all that I've said to this point, I'm very optimistic. I have to be optimistic because the divine is present. And as long as the divine is everywhere fully and completely present, there is possibility for a turning of the eyes, a turning of the mind, to make amends, to repent, which means to change your mind. There's always a possibility that we can adopt a more healthy consciousness that will allow us to have a more harmonious, loving situation, to have a more harmonious, loving, and orderly relations with one another. There's always that possibility, but it's going to require change on the part of each and every individual in a critical mass of us collectively. So I stand here ready to do my part, to engage my own heart, mind, consciousness, to remove all those barriers that prevent me from love, as Rumi would say. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take an elevation of consciousness. We can change our laws. We can try to upgrade our laws, upgrade our institutions, upgrade our technology, but nothing is going to really change until we upgrade our humanity. And the way to upgrade our humanity is to have an activity in mind, an activity in heart-mind consciousness that represents a shift more towards the light, a shift more towards humanity, a shift more to more love, a shift more to more peace. This has to take place. It has to. It has to. This has been such a moving experience for me. I can't be the same. I can't live the same. I can't interact with people the same anymore. I can't give a message the same. I have to do what I do, more of a sense of mission to help bring about and shift consciousness in a way in myself and in those that I come in contact with, my neighbors, as Jesus would say. And your neighbors means everyone, all beings, all people, everywhere where beings and people can be found. I have more of a sense of mission now. And I've been toying with the idea of going into a series, which I'm going to begin next week, a series entitled, Justice is a Divine Idea. I've been toying with this idea for weeks now. And if you all indulge me in this series, justice is a word that's very triggering for some people, a rallying cry for others. If you all engage me in this series, I guarantee you, you will not see the idea or the word of justice the same way ever again. And it will make a lot of things clear in terms of the things that are going on. Because when we call to mind God ideas and God attributes, we often call love, peace, wisdom, understanding. We don't often call justice. We don't often invoke that. But that is just as much of a divine idea and works with all the other divine ideas, or all the other divine ideas. I love you all so much. I really do. I love you. I hold you in prayer. We're all connected. Knowing the world with this fundamental truth of our being becomes more and more clear, more present. And so it is.
Wow, we are certainly blessed here at Unity of Wichita by the message, the music, the meditation, and the love between all of us, the love all out there, live streaming. So whatever you are guided to give as your tithe or your offering, just place it over your heart. Think about your electronic tithe. You can go to www.unityofwichita.org/donations and push the donate button to give. Give to this church, to give to yourselves, to give of our hearts. And we say together, and we're going to put the offering plate in the back. So those of you who have brought your offerings can just place it in the back. We will not be passing around an offering plate. Okay? And together we are going to say our offering blessing. Divine love surrounds me, blesses and multiplies. All that I give, all that I receive, and I am grateful. Amen.
We envision the tithes and the offerings that are flowing forth. We see them flowing forth now. And we have great joy with the tithes and offerings that flow forth because we know these tithes and offerings, they represent a faith in spirit. It represents a willingness to give, a willingness to contribute to something that is wonderful and nourishing. These tithes and offerings, we envision them now, and we infuse them with love and energy and power. And we send those forth, and we know that they go forth and flow forth in ways that minister, in ways that support, in ways that shore up, in ways that inspire minds and open hearts and quicken spirits. We're so grateful for the law of giving and receiving, the law of circulation, knowing full well that God the good is our infinite source of supply. We are grateful, and together we say, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Oh boy. Yeah, we're gonna do some announcements. You have it, Sam, or do I freestyle? Okay. I'll do this with the help of the monitor here. The spirit groups that are ongoing right now, Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m. 5 principles based upon the book by Reverend Alan Davenport. Thursdays at 1:30 p.m., Divine Audacity. And Saturdays at 11 a.m., Affirmative Empowering Prayer. There are links to those Zoom links are on the e-blast. They're also on the calendar on the church website. Midweek meditation moved to Wednesdays at 9 a.m. The formerly 6 a.m. meditation with Sam Jones is now at 9 a.m. Someone wants to say hallelujah, you can. So at 9 a.m., what other good going announcements? We will be doing this as far as the physical space as well as online for the next several weeks, following the guidance from all credible authorities in terms of precautions and protocols we need to be taking. So we're definitely open for those of us who want to come and physically experience this, as well as if you're more comfortable online, you can do that as well.
That's happened, we're in person, they have to run up credit. And I'm barefoot, but that's okay. Okay, so a show of hands, or hoots and hollers, or woohoos, or whistles. Did you guys enjoy being back here today? Even though you had to wear a mask. Even though you had to wash your hands. Heaven forbid. Well, I just want to tell you that I am so grateful for all of you being here.
Yes.
We know that this is different. We know that it's unusual, little invasive, but we have been missing you. And I'm so glad you guys came today. So I just have to say that.
Bless you. I know they're not here, but I mean still.
Let's do a couple of bars.
We are walking as the light, as the light, as the light. We are walking as the light, as the light of God.
To our wonderful youth, we love you and we miss you, and we can't wait for the day where we can have you up here at this portion of the service so we can see you and be inspired by you. And at this time, we're going to send you out the youth blessing. We're going to affirm that, and we pray that you feel this and receive it in the spirit of love from which it is coming. So we will bless you now. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ as you, just as you are. Let's give a round of applause for our youth. And just as you are, and just as you are, thank you so much for joining in and participating and connecting with us. Remember now that once the service is over, you can connect on Zoom and you can go into the group chats like we've been doing the past several weeks, so we can still connect. It's a different way of connecting, but we can still connect nonetheless. So for those of us who are in the sanctuary, let us all stand in place where we are. We won't circle up, we won't join hands. And we will, yes, but we love each other. And we will affirm our prayer of protection, and we will sing the peace song. For those here, the words are on the monitor. Here we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Not bad. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. God is our creator, God was all our we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be our moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Hey Donald, consider yourself hugged from here. It's good to see your face. I'm Ellen, swimming upstream.
Bye. Join us on the Zoom link. I posted it in the chat. Open the chat. Ah, it said I posted it. Ugh. Anyway, if you go to your eBlast, you'll find the link. Hook up hook up. We'll see you then. Bye, guys.